Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm the Resource Recovery Education Officer at the Hillshire Council, and welcome to the So Easy video series brought to you by the Resource Recovery team.
Hi, I'm Bex from Second Life Upcycling, and I teach sewing classes, clothes upcycling, and sustainability workshops.
So the goal of this series is to support sustainable habits by giving you the skills and the confidence to fix and alter your own clothes instead of sending them to landfill. So let's get started.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace and sew a button. So what I've got here is a dress, and this button right here in the middle has gone awry. So it's in the worst place that it could possibly be. So I'm going to replace that button. And what do you have over there?
So I have a top here. Both buttons are still attached. But I think I'd like to change out the buttons to change the look and the feel of the top and elevate it a little bit.
Yes, yeah. And Michelle's got a great point, because just changing the buttons can completely elevate a top. It can totally transform it. Okay, so what you're going to need for this project is needle and cotton, replacement buttons or a replacement button, and scissors. We're also going to need a small unpicker, and I'll explain why. All right, well, the first step that we've got to do is remove our existing buttons. So that's where we use our small unpicker. And then we're just going to try, depending if you can, sometimes you can get in here and you can break this cotton. Sometimes. It depends how well they've been sewn, and you can kind of get your, in there to break the cotton. And then that allows it to kind of become a little bit loose and detached. Mm-hmm. And then you can often get your unpicker in behind. You have to be really careful, though, not to rip the garment. So if you do rip the garment, it's not the end of the world, because we're going to cover that up. If you put a little nick in it, we're going to cover it up with our new buttons anyway. So we'll be okay. So now we know where the holes are, where the buttons need to be replaced. So we're just going to use just a normal needle, often called a sharp when you buy them from the haberdashery store or supermarket. Now, when I thread the needle to sew on a button, I send it through and it threads through. And then I double my cotton. And the reason why I double my cotton is, and I cut a lot of cotton, is because I want it to be quite a strong hold. So then once you've thread your needle and doubled it, and just do a double or triple knot in the end, so that then when you pull it through, it's going to hold on the underside of the fabric. So then I'm holding it in place with my thumb, and then from the underside, I'm going to poke around with my needle, and I'm going to come up through one of the holes. It doesn't matter which hole it is to start with. It does not matter. I come under from the underside to any of the holes. It doesn't matter. And then I'm going to go diagonal to the one diagonally and then pull it all the way through. Then what I need to do is then come up to one of my opposing diagonals. And then I come up. And then I'm going to go across to the other diagonal. So I'm kind of doing a crisscross to get them all in there. So I've come up and down probably about twice on each one.
Yep.
Just for the purpose of this video and for moving on, I'm going to then start on my next one. So to finish off this button, I've still got the tail of my knot there. So I'm going to keep that there. And then I'm just going to cut this quite long. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knot those together. And that creates a really, really strong finish to our button. So again, I've kept the tail of the knot, my first thread that came in, and then when I finished it off, I've just kept long thread there, and now I've just joined them both together. And then I'll just cut that off. And there's the first one done. So now I'm doing the plain side, and then I'll just start it again. And again, I'm just going to keep going with that crisscross pattern. All right, well, I'm done. Are you done?
I'm all done.
Okay. I think mine looks amazing, and so does yours. So much better. Thanks for watching. We hope that this video has inspired you to revisit your wardrobe and give your garments a second life.
If you want to find out more about what Council is doing in regards to textiles and clothing, check out Council's website or the link below.
And wasn't that so easy?